Hey, quiet warriors. Have you ever felt that moment in a conversation where you know you're right, where your point is clear, logical, and grounded, yet somehow the other person keeps talking over you? They raise their voice. They interrupt. They push harder, not because their argument is stronger, but because they believe volume equals power. And in that moment, you feel it, the frustration, the tension, the urge to either shout back or shut down completely. But imagine something different. Imagine being in the middle of that same situation, and instead of matching their aggression, you remain calm. Your voice stays steady. Your posture doesn't change. And with one simple, intelligent response, the entire dynamic shifts. The other person pauses. Their tone drops. The room goes quiet. Not because you attacked them. Not because you embarrassed them. But because you spoke with such clarity and control that there was nothing left for them to push against. That is real power. Today, you're going to learn 5 smart responses that have that exact effect. Responses that don't rely on shouting, insults, or emotional reactions. Responses that protect your dignity, strengthen your presence, and quietly place you in a position of control. These are not phrases meant to humiliate. They are tools meant to elevate you. And it doesn't matter who you're dealing with. A boss who talks down to you. A family member who always needs to be right. A friend who crosses boundaries. Or someone who tries to dominate every conversation they enter. These responses work because they don't fight noise with noise. They meet chaos with calm. Pay close attention as we move through them. Each one builds on the last. And one of them, if used correctly, has the power to completely disarm even the most manipulative personality. Stay with me until the end, because when you practice these responses and begin to use them naturally, you'll notice something subtle but powerful. Conversations change. People listen more closely. And silence begins to work in your favor. Almost everyone has experienced this struggle. You explain yourself clearly, yet the other person refuses to hear you. You stay respectful, yet they grow more aggressive. And over time, it creates the illusion that whoever speaks louder must be stronger, smarter, or more confident. But that illusion is one of the greatest misunderstandings in modern communication. In many cultures today, strength is confused with force. Confidence is confused with dominance. And respect is confused with fear. But fear creates temporary obedience, not lasting respect. And force might win an argument, but it always costs you something: your calm, your clarity, or your credibility. The Stoics understood this long before our time. They knew that true power is internal. It's not about controlling others. It's about controlling yourself so completely that no one else can control you. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet his greatest weapon was not authority or threat, but composure. Epictetus lived as a slave, yet taught emperors because his mind could not be dominated. And Seneca advised the most powerful men in Rome while constantly reminding them that emotional impulsiveness was the greatest weakness of all. What you're about to hear is rooted in that same wisdom. These responses are simple. They are calm. And when used correctly, they shift the balance of power instantly. The first response begins exactly where most conflicts go wrong. I don't need to raise my voice to be right. There are moments when someone believes that by raising their voice, they gain authority. They speak faster. Louder. They interrupt you mid-sentence. They lean forward, take up space, and expect you to either submit or fight back. And when you choose either of those options, you've already accepted their rules. But this response quietly refuses to play that game. When you say, "I don't need to raise my voice to be right," you are doing something very specific. You are stepping out of emotional competition without stepping away from the conversation. You are not attacking them. You are not apologizing. You are simply stating a truth that exposes the weakness behind their behavior. Imagine a meeting where someone begins talking over you. Their tone rises. Others in the room feel the tension. Most people would either raise their voice to compete or go silent to avoid conflict. But instead, you remain steady. You look at them calmly and say, "I don't need to raise my voice to be right." The effect is immediate. The noise loses its power because you refuse to match it. The focus shifts from volume to substance. And everyone listening understands something without you ever saying it directly. You are not shaken, and you are not intimidated. Epictetus taught that self-control is not suppression. It is strength. He said that the person who cannot control their tongue becomes a servant to their emotions. When you use this response, you demonstrate mastery. You show that your confidence does not depend on being the loudest voice in the room. And here's what makes this phrase especially powerful. It doesn't just affect the person confronting you. It affects everyone watching. Because when calm stands in the presence of chaos and does not flinch, people instinctively recognize where the real authority lies. You are no longer arguing. You are leading. The second response goes even deeper, especially when the conversation turns disrespectful. The way you speak says more about you than it does about me. This response is for moments when someone uses sarcasm, mockery, or contempt to provoke you. When they disguise insults as jokes. When they attempt to undermine you emotionally instead of addressing what you're saying. The natural impulse is to defend yourself. To explain. To counterattack. But that reaction is exactly what they expect. And when you react the way they anticipate, you hand them control. This phrase does the opposite. When you say, "The way you speak says more about you than it does about me," you don't escalate. You don't insult them. You don't plead your case. You simply hold up a mirror. And mirrors are uncomfortable. Imagine someone makes a cutting remark during a discussion. Instead of firing back, you pause. You meet their eyes. And you say those words calmly, without anger. What happens next is subtle but powerful. The conversation stops being about you. It turns back toward them. Toward their tone. Toward their behavior. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the best way to respond to harm is not to become like the one who caused it. This response embodies that principle. You maintain your dignity while forcing the other person to confront their own conduct. And there's another layer to this. When you don't react the way someone expects, you disrupt their script. They were prepared for resistance or submission. They were not prepared for composure. When the script changes, the dynamic changes. This is why the Stoics placed such importance on response rather than reaction. Epictetus reminded us that events themselves do not disturb us, our judgments about them do. When you refuse to internalize someone else's disrespect, you take away its power. In a world that rewards quick reactions and emotional outbursts, restraint becomes rare. And rarity commands attention. Seneca warned that speaking in anger is like releasing an arrow without aiming. Once it leaves, you cannot call it back. Many relationships are damaged not by what people feel, but by what they say in moments of impulse. These responses are designed to protect you from that damage while quietly strengthening your position. They are not about winning arguments. They are about preserving your inner balance. And when someone realizes they cannot provoke you, cannot bait you, cannot pull you into emotional chaos, something interesting happens. They begin to adjust. Or they fall silent. Because calm has weight. And silence, when chosen deliberately, speaks louder than noise. As we move forward, the responses become firmer. They move from internal strength to clear boundaries. From reflection to decisive control. And the next response does something many people are afraid to do: it raises the standard of how you allow yourself to be treated. Some conversations are not conversations at all. They are battles disguised as dialogue. The other person interrupts before you finish a sentence. They twist your words. Their tone sharpens. Their goal is not understanding, but dominance. And many people believe that enduring this behavior is the price of staying engaged. That if they walk away or slow things down, they've somehow lost. But this belief keeps people trapped in conversations that drain their energy and erode their self-respect. This is where the third response comes in, and why it is one of the most powerful tools you can have. Let's talk when we can do it respectfully. This response is not an escape. It is not weakness. It is a declaration of standards. When you say this, you are doing something very deliberate. You are shifting the conversation away from the subject and toward the conditions required for that conversation to continue. You are saying, without hostility, that respect is not optional. Imagine you're speaking with someone who refuses to let you finish your thoughts. Every time you begin to explain yourself, they interrupt. Their voice rises. Their words carry an edge. The usual reaction is to either push harder or withdraw silently. But instead, you pause. You breathe. And calmly, you say, "Let's talk when we can do it respectfully." The effect is immediate. The momentum breaks. The emotional charge dissolves. And suddenly, the person realizes that the conversation cannot continue on their terms. The power dynamic shifts, not because you forced it, but because you set a boundary. Epictetus taught that while we cannot control what others do, we can control what we accept. This response embodies that idea completely. You are not trying to control the other person's behavior. You are simply making it clear what behavior you are willing to engage with. And here's the key: you don't over-explain. You don't justify. You don't argue about tone. You state the boundary and allow silence to do the rest. Silence, when backed by clarity, is uncomfortable for those who rely on pressure to win. This phrase works because it reframes the situation. The conversation is no longer about who is right. It becomes about who is capable of respect. And often, the person who cannot meet that standard has nothing left to say. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the strength of a person is revealed not in how they overpower others, but in how they govern themselves. When you calmly enforce respect, you demonstrate governance over your own emotions and space. This response teaches people how to treat you without you ever having to demand it. And when someone realizes that access to you requires composure, they either rise to that level or remove themselves. Either outcome works in your favor. The fourth response takes this one step further. Because sometimes, even after you've raised the standard, the other person refuses to meet it. There are moments when continuing a conversation serves no purpose. The person isn't listening. They don't want resolution. They want control. And staying engaged only gives them more opportunities to provoke you. This is where the next response becomes essential. I'd prefer not to continue this conversation. This phrase is simple, direct, and profoundly powerful. It does not ask for permission. It does not threaten. It does not explain itself. It closes the door. Imagine you're in a discussion that has turned toxic. Every word from the other person feels designed to push your limits. You feel your patience thinning. Your body tightens. Your thoughts become sharper. This is the moment where many people explode and later regret it. But instead, you choose something else. You look at them calmly and say, "I prefer not to continue this conversation." That's it. No added explanation. No defense. No emotional charge. The conversation ends because you decide it ends. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed." This response is the practical application of that wisdom. You are choosing not to expose yourself to unnecessary emotional damage. This is not giving up. It is not avoidance. It is discernment. Walking away from a pointless argument is not weakness. It is the recognition that your peace has value. That your time has weight. That not every battle deserves your energy. When someone sees you disengage with dignity, they understand something immediately. You are not afraid of confrontation. You are simply unwilling to waste yourself on it. This response restores control instantly. It removes fuel from the fire. And often, it leaves the other person unsettled, because their tactics no longer work. Silence follows not because you were defeated, but because you refuse to be dragged into chaos. Seneca warned that emotional impulsiveness is one of the greatest threats to a person's freedom. When you allow others to dictate your emotional state, you surrender power. But when you choose when and how to engage, you reclaim it. This phrase is like locking a door. And sometimes, closing a door is the strongest move you can make. As you can see, each response builds upon the last. We moved from internal composure, to reflective clarity, to enforced respect, to deliberate withdrawal. And now, we arrive at a place many people struggle to stand firmly, holding your position without conflict. Because not every disagreement involves hostility. Sometimes, it involves persistence. Pressure. Expectations placed on you by people who may care about you, but still cross your boundaries. Take note, not every challenge comes from aggression. Sometimes, it comes from persistence. From people who keep pushing their opinions, their beliefs, their expectations onto you. They may not shout. They may not insult you. But they refuse to let go. They insist. They pressure. And over time, that pressure can be just as exhausting as open conflict. This is where the fifth response becomes essential. That's your opinion, and I respect it, but I don't share it. This response is quiet, firm, and unmovable. It does not attack. It does not dismiss. And it does not surrender. Imagine a conversation with someone close to you. A colleague, a friend, a family member. They keep insisting that you should see things their way. They repeat their argument. They reframe it. They appeal to emotion. And while they may not mean harm, they are slowly crossing your boundaries. Many people respond by over-explaining. They justify their choices. They argue point by point. Or they stay silent to avoid tension, even though resentment grows inside them. But instead, you choose clarity. You say, calmly and without defensiveness, "That's your opinion, and I respect it, but I don't share it." And something remarkable happens. The conversation stops pushing forward. Because there is nothing to push against. You are not rejecting them. You are not invalidating their perspective. You are simply standing in your own. This response works because it separates respect from agreement. It acknowledges the other person without surrendering your autonomy. And that balance is something many people struggle to challenge. Seneca said that being enslaved to the opinions of others is one of the greatest forms of captivity. This phrase is a key that unlocks that prison. It is an elegant declaration of independence. You are saying, I hear you. I value you. But I think for myself. And when people realize they cannot move you through pressure, they stop trying. Not because you were forceful, but because you were immovable. This is emotional independence. When you consistently respond this way, something shifts in how people treat you. They become more careful, more respectful. Not out of fear, but because they sense your internal stability. You are no longer easy to manipulate. No longer easy to provoke. No longer pulled into arguments that drain you. And now, you have all 5 responses. Responses that don't rely on shouting. Responses that don't rely on insults. Responses that don't rely on dominance. They rely on presence. Let's bring them together. I don't need to raise my voice to be right. The way you speak says more about you than it does about me. Let's talk when we can do it respectfully. I'd prefer not to continue this conversation. That's your opinion, and I respect it, but I don't share it. Each one serves a different moment. A different level of tension. A different kind of challenge. And together, they form a complete system of quiet strength. Do not underestimate these phrases. When you practice them, when you speak them with calm, confidence, and clarity, you will notice changes. Conversations slow down. People listen more carefully. And those who once tried to dominate begin to hesitate. Not because you silenced them with force, but because you silenced them with character. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that a person's worth is measured not by how they overpower others, but by how they master themselves. When you choose composure over chaos, you embody that wisdom. This is not about winning arguments. It is about protecting your inner peace. It is about leading without shouting. It is about power that does not need to announce itself. Here at Stoic Quiet Strength, we focus on one principle above all others: power in silence. The kind of power that comes from clarity, restraint, and self-mastery. The kind of power that cannot be taken from you because it is built within you. If this way of thinking resonates with you, if you want to continue developing calm authority, emotional control, and unshakable presence, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. What's coming will help you think, speak, and act with the wisdom of the Stoics in a noisy world that desperately needs more silence. And before you go, tell me in the comments, which of these responses are you going to use first? I'll be reading. This is Stoic Quiet Strength, Power in Silence.